it looks like you've already got one lined up here as they got you for the co-main event. You're going to be fighting DeMarcus Johnson for LFA. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the matchup. I mean, you're coming off a win. You know, you bounce back off your first loss. You got another win last year. You know, your opponent's coming in off of 2 losses, but this is a good spot for you. You got co-main event and your first fight for LFA. I mean, what are your thoughts on the fight?
I think the fight is perfect. You know, it was a perfect fight to get me motivated what kind of motivation I'll need. Guy's tough. He's been fighting Bellator everywhere. You know, he has like 10 wins. He knows what the wins are. He knows how the defeats are. So like we're pretty much same base. And yeah, fighting this promotion is pretty big. They are one of the feeders for the UFC where everybody's goal is. So we'll see. You know, I just want to go there and show my best Adrian that has ever fought.
What up, though, everybody? This is Kyle, and you are back watching Knockouts and 3 Counts, and we are back here again giving you a little preview to next week's LFA card with the return of past guest of the show, Adrian the Eagle Hadribeaj. How you doing, brother, man? I hope I didn't butcher the name too bad.
No, man, you said it awesome. Hey, thank you for having me, buddy.
So, how bad do
appreciate
people mess up your name on the regular, dude?
Oh yeah, like so much, and like as soon as I have to say my last name, I start laughing. They're like, "Oh, why are you laughing?" And then as soon as they hear it, they have it hard to pronounce, and it's funny how they pronounce it. So I have fun with that part.
So when you get ready to fight, how often does the announcer come up to you and like, so how do you say your last name?
Oh yeah, it's been pretty hard for them. They come and they're like, okay, how you pronounce it? So they want to like write it down, how it
Because
sounds.
that's gonna help.
So, yeah, because the word, he or she, will put there like totally not with my last name, but just the way it sounds. So like it gets.
So they get it right. It looks like way different than what it should be, just so that they can sound it out. Hadribeaj. Oh, fuck. But, dude, it's great to have you back on the show. Been a long time since we had you on. The last time we had you on the show was right before your last fight for TXC. You made your return to the cage for TWC against a tough fight with a guy from Extreme Couture last year. And now you're making your return to LFA. So, first of all, how are you feeling being that you've had, like, the long layoffs?
I mean, my mind has been always there, like grinding, and because of the gym, but my big comeback has been, planning for a while, so like I put a lot of, stuff in the place, uh, because you get the different get in different stage of life. You gotta get married, have babies, like I have a beautiful family, so but it's been an awesome business growing, teaching, and so I can't complain. And now it's just something that's been like missing on me. It's just been fighting, and like seeing like how people got advanced and stuff, and where I was, and see them like they progress, or like see like
More Michigan guys
Kyle,
get shots?
yeah, feel like Kyle Nelson, he's been like in UFC like 2 3 fights, and I totally dominated that guy, like put him in clinic, and like others and others and others, so I have the potential. A lot don't have it, and it's just now is the right time for me to come back and 100% and show all my ability and show the rest of the world, where I belong.
So tell me a little bit about that. Obviously, it's been a while since your last fight. Tell me a little bit about your training now. So Birmingham Martial Arts, do you own that place, or are you just like head trainer there?
Yes, I am the owner. We do the karate, our martial arts, and been training a lot with American top team with ex UFC fight Darren Kershank, and training with Bobby Nash, with all of the guys. You know, all of
Past
those are.
guest of the show. Check out the link right there, top right corner.
Yep.
We just
So,
had Bobby on recently before his fight that got canceled for CFFC.
yeah, we've been training together. We've been pushing, ourselves, and be working on my strength and conditioning, and everything is required, just to get me like in the best shape I ever been.
Well, how do you feel, like you said, you're training over at Michigan Top Team now, and you got guys like Bobby Nash and Darren Cruikshank and Kenny Cross, who's a past guest of the show. You can check out his interview there as well. Yeah, I mean, you're training with the best guys you're really going to find here in Michigan. So, I mean, how does that, what does that do for your confidence as you go into the cage on LFA, which is going to be on UFC Fight Pass, which is a direct shot to be seen by Dana White and all the guys in the UFC?
Oh yeah, confidence has never been an issue in my career. My confidence, and training, and all the stuff, has been, mindset always has been on point. Most of the thing is like just making time, training, dieting are like too many things. You gotta, stay on top, on level of this stuff. They are not easy to be a professional fighter and staying on top and all these things non-stop. But yeah, totally like training together and having all those guys has been an awesome experience.
So has the quarantine and the pandemic and all that changed your training too much, or is this still kind of a normal
No,
fight camp for you?
just the same. It was rough. First days and stuff. I thought I was gonna get like lazy and fat, and then I was like, I stopped it right away, and I changed my routine and everything. Like, no, I can't have, I turned that, 360 right away, because I felt myself like the more I was like resting 1 2 weeks, I was getting lazy,
I was
and
about to say you felt yourself getting
like, 360. I just did the opposite. I was training twice, 3 times a day. I started eating right, bring the weight down, and I couldn't wait for the promotions to open, so I can hit a good big fight, and whatever is coming my way, for bigger and bigger.
Well, I mean, it looks like you've already got one lined up here. As they got you for the co-main event, you're going to be fighting DeMarcus Johnson for LFA. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the matchup. I mean, you're coming off a win. You bounce back off your first loss. You got another win last year. Your opponent's coming in off of 2 losses, but this is a good spot for you. You got co-main event and your first fight for LFA. I mean, what are your thoughts on the fight?
I think the fight is perfect. It was a perfect fight to get me motivated. What kind of motivation I'll need. Guy's tough. He's been fighting Bellator everywhere. He has like 10 wins. He knows what the wins are. He knows how the defeats are. So like we are pretty much same base. And yeah, fighting this promotion is pretty big. They are one of the feeders for the UFC, where everybody's goal is. So we'll see. I just want to go there and show my best Adrian that has ever fought.
So a question I have for you is something that Corey and I were talking about when we were watching the Bellator fights the other night. Now, I know, being somebody that's trained with you in the past, you fought a few times for Bellator. You were victorious in your fights for Bellator. What do you think? What do you think there's to be said for like Bellator? Because sometimes it seems like a guy can go in there, he can win, impressively. And for some reason, it seems like they don't like to keep people like long term. Like, why? Do you have any thoughts on why they never really kept you up with Bellator?
Yeah, that's something different, because when I fought there, they offered me a 4-year contract with them.
Wow.
So I didn't expect that. That's why you don't.
Okay. See,
because
now I never knew that.
Yeah, so I like too many things they haven't like really like really expressed to the world, or people don't know. But yeah, that's one. And I had too many other calls for UFC, but just, you know, my situation and everything, you know, I haven't like really expressed that, you know. But in the future, I'll, you know, I have a good story behind me, you know, to tell and what I
Was it
did.
was it because you were trying to start a family or something that made it kind of like not right timing for you?
For the Bellator, no, I just, you know, being a Bellator, you gotta become them. But the reason I moved here, you know, was the UFC
Right.
Gold. So I wanted to be like, you know, fight at the time in all those organization and really fight, you know, biggest.
I can respect that. I totally respect that. So now as you go in with LFA, you know, you bring something real unique to the table. For those who haven't been to Adrian's fights, I've been there. I've walked out with him for these fights. You bring the fucking noise with your fans, man. So what do you think that says to, you know, a UFC, like you
You
said,
you
you
see
know,
you see me with bringing the fans, but when I started, I didn't have no one. You know, I was going like people's places, people's backyard, and you'll see like how quickly they turned out and be my fans. You know, like because you, I like to bring the show. I'm an athlete. You know, I'm not like just a fighter. You know, go there and I when I fight, you know, it's a game. You know, we respect each other. We're there to win. We're there like all those obstacles. You know, we go through. So, but most important, like I want to show all my talent there.
right. And it's crazy, man, because like what does that do for you going into the cage? Does it do anything to you? Like do you know, do you feed are you somebody that feeds off that for your fights? Because I mean, I can say from being outside the cage, man, it on a regional level or even like a feeder level like an LFA, if there were allowed to be crowds in there, there's not many guys on a regional scene that bring the fucking noise like you do, dude. Even if it
Oh
was
yeah,
built over time, I'm just saying, dude, I've been there. I've been in the arena. And the one time I was there when you did lose, they weren't happy campers. So you got some loyal fans.
there were like few people that couldn't sleep for a few days after. You know, they had like something like their gut, like they were like, "Don't why you fighting? You know, you do good in your life and stuff." But just but it's, you know, who I am. I've been in a combat sport since I was 6 years old. So like competing for me is like something keeps me going, keeps me alive, you know, like and it's but yeah, as your question that we're going for the fans, the changes, uh it's just like a reset time back. Like I'm really where I am right now, like those days when me and the coach were going like in fighting, you know, people behind us and just the fight, you know. So like it's something like, you know, I've been there. So like I'm really excited to like to set that back and restart it again. And it's gonna be I think a
I
nice
think,
turnout, a nice turnout. And another thing that I wanted to mention about
sure.
the fans here, it's it's not easy. It's not easy, you know, having like all the Slovenian fans there and stuff. You can't disappoint that, man. You know, like yeah, you know what? We can't disappoint these fans here, you know, because they go so crazy, you know, with their heart, their gut, like
And the
they're
cool
just
thing with that for you is you look at a guy like, okay, I'm just going to use it as an example, but you look at a guy like Conor McGregor. Ireland comes out in droves for this dude every time he fights. And he's been able to build his name here just like you're trying to do. And now they come out crazy every time. And that's why it doesn't matter whether it's in a boxing ring, doesn't matter whether it's in a cage. People want to see this dude fight. And
I have
with the
I
backing
have
that you've got,
I have people like after the first time they came, like I don't mind spending 500, 1,000, 2,000 to come see this guy win and make us proud. I've been here a lot of times, so it makes me like feel good, you know. Keep,
and they
keep,
keep coming back. Like you said, they want to come, don't matter what the price tag. And I mean, that's something that's very alluring as you're trying to make your way into the UFC, because they know that when this eventually passes, which it will pass, don't know how long it's going to be, hopefully sooner rather than later. But when it does, the UFC will know you can bring the noise.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask though, you've been keeping up on the game. How much do you watch fights when you're not in fight camp or you're not getting ready for a fight? Do you keep up with the UFC fights regularly?
Oh, yeah. Every week. Every week I see that.
All right. So what did you think of DC Stipe?
Probably not like the full
Card?
all full fights, but sometimes most of the main cards, yeah, I see it.
Okay. So what'd you think of DC Stipe, man? I gotta hear your thoughts on the fight and DC retiring.
That was a great trilogy that happened there. So it was both for like a comeback and how Stipe came back. Like that's the true legend, to come after defeat and come back. That's where you see like the high athletes when they come back, how they're gonna react, and the rest of the other fighters, because you have to see a lot of fighters come and goes and stuff, but some that are there, no matter what's happened, they know how to come back stronger. So that's like big respect for Stipe. I wasn't a big fan before, but with this one happened, like I really give him props for that.
So do you think he's the best of all time now?
He proved it. So we'll see how he's gonna. Always somebody's gonna.
Somebody's gonna stay there better.
But for now, yeah, he did. And DC, he's like always like a role model. What he's been going through and how he's coming back, and he's like high level athlete. So like both respect for both guys. I didn't choose on that fight. I just wanted to see a great fight, and seeing that Pochanyai was like so bad and stuff.
Yeah.
Side, so because I wanted to see like more.
Right.
They took advantage a little bit, but.
Well, you hate to see it that way because you don't want there to ever be like an asterisk, like he lost because he got poked in the eye. At least in that fight, both of them got poked in the eye, so neither one of them can really say, well, you poked me in the eye, because the other one.
Yeah, but he couldn't see it, unless
you could see like the dot in his eye and they're like the corner of his eye.
I mean, I know because being there a lot of times, not in MMA mostly, but even karate tournaments, I know how it is like to be poked in the eye. You can see. So now you're worrying about seeing, or worrying getting punched, or you're worried winning, and it steps you back. But he's a true warrior. He came back. He fought. He had some good hooks there, or like right overhang. I don't know how
Stipe stood up.
Stipe stood up with some of those clean punches, But it was a good fight overall.
Hey, man, at least with it being a trilogy fight, that's the kind of fights you want to see them go out on.
Yes, correct.
So I also want to get your thoughts on the upcoming fight we got. You got Israel Adesanya versus Costa, okay? They've been going back and forth, man. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this one. Who do you got, and how do you see this fight going?
Stylistic, the way of fighting, Adesanya is more like my fighting styles, being there, and Kosa is those guys comes there strong and pressuring and stuff. So I really want to see Adesanya win, and so it's most likely like most of the fights I do. So they're like,
yeah,
like people like come strong first round, try, and then level of experience, striking and stuff will pick them apart as the fight goes on.
So we mentioned a little bit about your fan base and that kind of thing. One thing we've been getting into with the different people we've had on the show, whether it be wrestlers or, MMA fighters, is just kind of like what they go through before they walk through that curtain. For you, are you a guy where you're real chill, real calm before you fight? Or do you kind of have like a pre-fight ritual thing? Or are you a guy who's just got to be by himself? I mean, what does fight day look like for you?
Fight day for me, I'm like pretty relaxed, and people get worried like, dude, you're about to fight in like 5 minutes or an hour, or Like, how can you be this relaxed? I'm like, I'm fine, you know. People like they come, they don't know me, like see me regularly, like fighting before and stuff. But they see me like how like he's like, oh, maybe scared or like what's happening or stuff. I'm just relaxed, you know. I'm just trying to save all that good energy for like to explore my fights. That's what happens.
So you mentioned that you started with like backyard fights and things like that when you was younger. You know, was there ever even in your young days any like did you ever have any fear going into fights, or was it all any nerves, or was it always just like you looked at it as fun?
We trust me, when we started karate, we were at that time we didn't have like a mats. We're like on the tile. We're doing karate on the tile and like rocks and stuff. And we didn't have gloves. Do you know how many times we were like beat each other like accidentally and stuff, like getting cuts and stitches all over, since in a young age. So for me, it's, the fear is never been there. So like for me, the stronger they are, the easier to fall, and the bigger they are, like the stronger I fight. So
I almost feel like the bigger opponents for you, at least from the fights that I've been there to see from you, I feel like against bigger opponents, you've always done well for the simple fact that anybody who hasn't watched this guy fight, you throw a lot of volume. You move a lot, you throw a lot of volume, you hit the guy
I
a lot
throw
of
up
times.
with like 1, 2, 3, up to like 7, 8 combinations, you know, and speed, speed for
Speed
moving.
kills, dude.
So like it's a lot of game going on there.
So that being said, as we head into your fight next week, you know, how do you see this fight going with DeMarcus Johnson? And do you have any words for your opponent? Like any, you know, anything last words to him going into the fight?
My last words. It's just like every time he's another guy in front of me. Uh, just another guy one step closer to my dream. So whatever it takes to pass that, I'm willing to go through. I'm willing to go like all through 3 rounds. I've been there a lot, you know. I like to like keep the distance going. I can finish you when I'm gonna see the opening submission, like anything. I'm every time I fight, I just go like I'm like you know I fight like a complete fighter. Every like uh, gap
You're
I
ready
see,
anywhere it goes.
I'm ready to target.
So that brings a good question too. Before I let you get out of here, what's your response to those who give the criticism of, oh, he's just a stand-up guy, he can't fight on the ground? I mean, most of the time in the fights you've
I've
had,
proven that.
yeah,
I've been proving that. I've been proving that. Like I've submitted guys on my fights. So I mean, don't stay there. You're gonna get
right,
submitted.
right.
But try it. So if you have a question, always look. It's since I started my MMA career, I've been working on wrestling and jiu-jitsu like nonstop. So maybe I don't like to like throw it much there, but when the opportunity comes,
Just because it
yeah,
ain't your favorite, you're ready.
yeah. So and you know, getting punched from being like high level grappler, you become like very easy an amateur, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like Mike Tyson says, man, everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face. What about
Yeah,
that though? You think Tyson? What do you think with Tyson and Jones, man?
man, that's exciting. I think all McGregor changed the whole world, man. You know, everybody's coming, doing these fight expeditions, you know, and
One of our teammates was on one of those. Josh fought on that at the Staples Center and all that, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's exciting. They should have done that before, but since uh, McGregor made Mayweather come back in the boxing, do all this, so everything has changed the thing. Everybody wants to do it now. De La Hoya wants to come back
Oh
now.
God.
So they're seeing like you know doing like crossover fight like that and being so successful. It's like this guy did it. Why not? We were like legends for years.
Hey, man, I like it. If nothing else, man, it shows you the drawing power of both Tyson and Roy Jones, because as soon as this fight was announced, everybody's like, oh, my God, I got to see Tyson's fight. Like, that shows you the drawing
Everybody,
power.
how like people are fans about Tyson, how what fighter he was, and the power and everything. So who doesn't want to see him back again?
So do you think he's going to knock him out? I know they said they're not supposed to knock him out, but I feel like with the way these guys fight, I find that hard to believe.
They are both tough. They're tough. They both can handle it, but it's gonna be really fun to watch and stuff.
I'm with you.
It's gonna be more like a hard sparring.
That's kind of what I think. I feel like they're just going to throw for a little bit. They'll get tagged a few times, be like, all right, we're just going to chill out a little bit. Like, let's get this money and go home, bro.
Do like a few rounds of sparring and making millions. Why not?
I know, right? Let me get on some shit like that. I'll throw the headgear on tomorrow. But let's talk about you, though. Let everybody know where they can find your fight again. And like we said, this man's coming out with another W. Let them know where they can find your fight, and any last words you got to your fans or sponsors or any of that good stuff.
So you can find me easy, Adrian the Eagle Hadribeaj, on Facebook, the Eagle MMA, Instagram and Twitter. And I want to thank everybody from my bottom and up to my heart for the support over the years. It's been an amazing decade going through, and the support nonstop, sponsors every fight. It's I've been blessed as a person, as a fighter, having all this, and everybody they stood by me, still believing on me. And the fight, don't forget, is next Friday, UFC Fight Pass for LFA co-main event. I'm used to say main event because all my
Because you always the main event, man. But we're going to be watching it. Like he said, UFC Fight Pass. Make sure you're watching it. We will be too. And make sure that you check out all the great interviews that are going to be coming to you from Knockouts and 3 Counts. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you don't miss the notifications. And make sure you're checking us out this Tuesday as we bring you Miranda Gordy, the Queen of Bad Street, before the Independent Wrestling Expo in Texas. And we're going to have a special appearance from El Rudo de las Chicas himself, Sam Adonis. So don't miss the live stream, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook. And until next time, and in the in-between time, peace.